there's been a back and forth now between Erika Kirk and Candace Owens. And I want to ask you guys about the politics of this, the politics of it, and also the politics of Israel, because those two things right now are dividing the conservative movement and some inside of it. And now it's gone beyond the back and forth between like a Candace and the Turning Point group into this is going to cost us the midterms. The midterms, like, and you guys are the politics experts. So I'm going to set up the underlying argument on which you do not need to opine, but I'm going to ask you for your take on the politics of it. So for the audience, here is what happened. Something extraordinary happened yesterday. And just FYI, I am going to have more to say very soon on what's happening between Erika Kirk and Turning Point on the one hand and Candace on the other. Not today, but very soon. And I have my reasons for that. So Erika went on with Harris Faulkner yesterday in, again, promoting Charlie's book. And she said the thing that Candace had said from the beginning Candace needed to hear in order to stop with blaming Turning Point for Charlie's assassination. For the listening audience, we have a man in custody for the Charlie Kirk assassination. His name is Tyler Robinson. He will be in court today in a couple of hours on a hearing about whether and what access the media should have to this trial. We'll be covering that for you tomorrow. And Erika, as fired up as I've seen her on this, clearly addressed Candace directly without saying her name. And I know for a fact this was an address to Candace, and Candace knew it too because she responded to it. Here is Erika Kirk. This is how Erika teed it up. Hold on a second. Yeah, no, let's start with SOT 9. SOT 9.
Here's my breaking point on that. Come after me, call me names, I don't care. Call me what you want, go down that rabbit hole, whatever. But when you go after my family, my Turning Point USA family, my Charlie Kirk Show family, when you go after the people that I love, and you're making hundreds and thousands of dollars every single episode going after the people that I love because somehow they're in on this, no.
You know, I have to say it. I've never seen you like this.
No, this is righteous anger because this is not okay. It's not healthy. This is a mind virus.
Okay, I'm just going to add another one. SOT 7.
I do not have time to address the noise. My silence does not mean that I am complacent. Mm-hmm. My silence does not mean that somehow Turning Point USA and all of the handpicked staff that loved my husband and my husband loved them is somehow in on it. We are busy building. And you know what I thought? I thought these people are human. We are all grieving in our own way. And they are trying to find the answer to something that happened that was so evil. They are trying so hard. And I get that. We're doing the same. Anytime we hear a lead or anytime we hear anything, we send it to the authorities. Please dig into this. No rock will be unturned. I want justice for my husband, for myself, for my family, more than anyone else out there. So for me, you want to keep telling me to come down while we're building? I don't have time for that.
And not last but not least, a bit of the Candace response here in SOT 8.
First and foremost, the idea that she does not have time. Okay, she definitely has time, okay? She's done Hannity, she's done The Five, she's done Fox and Friends, she's done Outnumbered, she's done Megyn Kelly Live, she sat down with the New York Times. She made time, by the way, in case you don't remember, to fly to D.C. for Sergio Gore to be sworn into the ambassador to India. Erika Kirk has time. She has time. It is just what she means to say, not her priority, which is you are allowed to prioritize things in your own life. But this is not a matter of time constraint. It is not her priority to respond to the majority, actually. The majority of people think of this as BS. The majority of people think Turning Point is acting suspicious. And she does not feel that it is what she wants to do as a matter of priority, responding. Okay, that's fine. This is why there are many people who do not believe that women are equipped to lead companies, because what you are watching here is an unbelievably emotional response that is absent of any logic, okay? If you really care about your team, answer the questions, okay? just demystify the entire event. Come out, sit down, answer the questions so people don't think Turning Point USA looks so suspicious.
Okay. Turning Point USA was, I don't think there was a more important organization in getting Donald Trump elected last time around in terms of get out the vote, especially when it came to young people. Charlie delivered the youth vote to Trump in a way we hadn't seen Republicans win for many years. And they're still going strong. They've taken a ton of donations since Charlie's death, and Erika is determined to lead that organization into the next decade in as robustly as Charlie would have. So them constantly being under attack by Candace and her followers for having had something to do with Charlie's death, which is her theory, among other theories, actually could have somewhat of an impact, but will it? And that's where this has devolved, because people like Tim Pool are openly warring with Candace, saying, F you. He says he's calling her terrible names, saying this is going to cost us the midterms. And her response is, I don't care. I don't care about the elections. I'm trying to figure out what happened to my friend. You heard what Erika Kirk had to say. And I really do wonder if you think that comes right on the heels of this big divide over Israel within the conservative movement that really fractured the movement in part. Does it have a role, guys? Or is it really just about Trump's approval rating, tariffs, quote, affordability, and all the traditional stuff that would decide whether Republicans win or lose as the party in power? Who would like to take that gem first?
I will step into the ring here.
We always make Tom take the hardest questions.
Right.
And then I clean up after him.
Well, that's what happened to Tom's hair.
Yeah, right. Gosh, if I had any hair, I'd be pulling it out at this point over this whole thing.
No, you look hot.
I don't mind opining about the event itself. Candace calls herself, a friend of Charlie. With friends like this, you don't need enemies. What she's doing is just unbelievably toxic and evil, in my opinion. She had said previously, look, if Erika Kirk tells me to stop, I'll stop. And Erika Kirk basically said, stop. And she said, you know what? I'm not going to stop. And why don't you answer my questions? It's never ending. It's ongoing. It is a distraction, but I do wonder, I know Candace has a big audience. I don't know how big it is in terms of having some sort of impact on the overall political landscape. I do think, look, this election and the next election are going to be based on what the public writ large cares about, and that is affordability, it's inflation, it's gas prices and all of that. Trump's approval rating for sure, and Democrats and their ability to leverage that stuff against the Republican Party in these midterms, and then again in 2028. I do think, though, Megyn, when you talk about sort of the youth movement and how Charlie had it sort of unified and moving in one direction and moving toward Trump. Trump was the cool guy to vote for in 2024 in a way that we hadn't seen in a long time on the Republican side. That has kind of frayed, and the Israel piece has divided the party in the aftermath of 2024. That's an ongoing thing, and that could have an impact on Republican turnout among young voters and on the margins, though. Certainly in 2026, it's going to be more, it's going to be a low turnout election. So every vote's going to matter as they always do in midterms. But I just don't think this Candace Owens thing, it's pretty dramatic because it is so, as I said, in my opinion, it's despicable what she's doing. And it's getting a lot of headlines. But in terms of its impact on the Republican Party overall, I don't think it's going to have much.
I'll say one other thing to your point. Trump became like the cool guy to vote for in 2024 among the youth, in large part thanks to Charlie and Turning Point. Yep. And that also did in part depend on Charlie himself. Like Charlie, when I was talking to his staff when I went out there to host his show, I think this happened live on the air, but they were talking about how Charlie loved listening to classical music. They kept trying to play country music for him out there. They live in Arizona. And he was like, I don't like it. I want my classical music. Then he had a couple of other things, like his late night snack, Erika told me, it was like a banana and olives. Like he was squeaky clean, And I joked with the Turning Point staff, like, so what you're saying is he was a nerd. And they would not even say that in jest. They were like, no, Like Charlie was an alpha male, and it was important to Charlie that alpha men return to the national scene. And that actually also made it cool to vote Republican, Tom. You know, like that swagger, Charlie's swagger, and like he was cool. That also was attractive, I think, to a lot of young people. We saw that too with the young men in particular after he died.
Absolutely. And he's irreplaceable. I mean, he had this sort of charisma. He was a rock star. I mean, my daughter was on the ASU campus and she told me a story. She was walking by and there's this huge crowd. And she was like, oh my gosh, who's here? You know, it was Charlie. It was Charlie just answering questions. I mean, he attracted these huge crowds wherever he went. He was a magnet. He had this magnetic personality. And that simply cannot be replaced. And so when you're talking about motivating young voters to go turn out for the Republican Party in 26 and 28, yeah, I mean, it's a big loss. It's a big loss that he's not the one doing it.
It's the loss.
Yeah.
That's the loss, not necessarily this back and forth.
That's right.
But I do wonder, guys. I mean, you're the political experts. What do you think, Andrew and Carl?
Go ahead.
Carl,
Andy.
you want to go?
You go, Andy, first. Then I'll go.
Well, I think Tom's basically right about if you talk about the midterms, and then in 2028, a lot will come down to who the candidates are. Candidate quality really matters. So we'll see who the Democrats put up. But I do think that this split around Israel, especially for young people, is something to keep an eye on. Maybe not in 26, 28, but in the long term. It's very dangerous, I think. And I do think that what I've seen from talking to young people, especially young men who really identified with Charlie Kirk, that this part of the message is resonating, this sort of anti-Israel message. And that, dangerously close to anti-Semitism if it isn't straight out anti-Semitism.
It's way past anti-Semitism,
right?
Andy.
So, I'm trying to be.
I don't agree with that at all, but you finish your point.
Anyway, but so I guess overall, I would say I think the midterms are going to turn on the economy. I think this healthcare issue is much bigger than, and I think some Republicans understand that. I think that's going to be a major, major issue. Well,
it's an interesting that you mentioned 28. I think, like, picture it. If it were Trump versus Harris all over again, would they really vote for Harris Republicans because the right is divided over these things that we've gone through? Like, I don't think so. I don't think there's anything that could have made any normal Republican vote for Kamala Harris instead of Donald Trump. Ever read the label on a typical bag of chips? It's often a science experiment of seed oils, MSG, artificial dyes, and mystery ingredients. Masa is part of the growing movement to bring back real food. Masa chips contain just 3 ingredients: organic corn, sea salt, and 100% grass-fed beef tallow. Not only do these chips avoid the bad stuff, they also taste delicious, too. Snacking on Masa chips is nothing like eating regular chips. With Masa, you feel satisfied, light, and energetic with no crash and no bloat. And if you love Masa, then you will love Vandy Crisps. Vandy, which is Masa's sister company, makes the most delicious 3-ingredient potato chips, too. Ready to give Masa or Vandy a try? Use code MK for 25% off your first order at masachips.com or vandycrisps.com, or simply click the link in the video description or scan the QR code to claim this delicious offer. Don't feel like ordering online? Masa and Vandy are now available nationwide at your local Sprouts supermarket. Stop by and pick a couple of bags up before they're all gone. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.